In the heart of America's political battleground, one man stood out as a lightning rod for a generation. Charlie Kirk, a high school dropout turned conservative titan, built an empire from a garage in suburban Chicago, mobilizing millions of young people to embrace free markets, limited government, and unapologetic patriotism. At just 18, he co-founded Turning Point USA, a movement that transformed college campuses into arenas of ideological warfare. By his early 30s, Kirk was a confidant of presidents, a media mogul with a top-ranked podcast, and a symbol of the MAGA revolution. His voice, sharp, fearless, and unrelenting, echoed across platforms, from X to national airwaves, inspiring devotion and fury in equal measure. But on September 10, 2025, at the age of 31, his life was cut short in a shocking assassination that rocked the nation and sparked a global debate about political violence, free speech, and the cost of conviction. Welcome to The Killer Next Door, where we uncover the darkest corners of human stories to reveal the truths that shape our world. Today, we dive into the life of Charlie Kirk, from his humble beginnings to his meteoric rise, his battles against the woke left, and the tragic moment that silenced a voice that refused to be quiet. If you think you know the whole story, think again. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and join us as we unravel the saga of a man who changed America and paid the ultimate price. This is Charlie Kirk, the firebrand who wouldn't back down. Charles James Kirk was born on October 14, 1993, in Prospect Heights, Illinois, a quiet, affluent suburb northwest of Chicago. Raised in a middle-class family, Kirk grew up in a stable, conservative household. His father, Robert Kirk, was a successful architect who worked on projects like Trump Tower in Chicago, while his mother, Kimberly, was a mental health counselor with a passion for community service. The Kirks were active in Republican circles. Robert donated significantly to Mitt Romney's 2012 presidential campaign, a fact that hinted at the family's political leanings. Charlie, the younger of two siblings, showed an early knack for debate and a fierce independence that set him apart. At Wheeling High School, he excelled academically but grew frustrated with what he perceived as liberal bias in education, from textbooks to teachers' lectures. By his junior year, Kirk was already a political activist. At 16, he volunteered for local Republican campaigns, handing out flyers and attending rallies. His big break came in 2011, when he wrote an op-ed for Breitbart News, accusing public schools of pushing propaganda and indoctrination through curricula that he believed skewed left. The piece, bold for a teenager, caught the attention of Bill Montgomery, a 71-year-old Tea Party activist and retired restaurateur running for office in Illinois. They met at a speaking event at Benedictine University in Lisle, Illinois, where Kirk's energy and conviction impressed Montgomery. Charlie had this fire, Montgomery later said. He wasn't afraid to challenge anyone, even at 17. Kirk applied to West Point, hoping to follow a path of service, but was rejected, a blow that fueled his determination to make an impact outside traditional institutions. After graduating high school in 2012, he enrolled at Harper College, a community college in Palatine, Illinois, but dropped out after one semester to pursue activism full-time. At 18, with no degree and no safety net, Kirk teamed up with Montgomery to co-found Turning Point USA, TPUSA, in June 2012. Operating out of a garage in suburban Chicago. Their mission was audacious: to combat what they saw as liberal dominance in higher education by promoting conservative values, free markets, limited government, and individual liberty, among college students. TPUSA's original slogan, "Big Government Sucks," captured their irreverent, in-your-face approach. The early days of TPUSA were scrappy. Kirk and Montgomery operated on a shoestring budget, relying on small donations from Tea Party supporters and local business owners. Kirk's charisma was his greatest asset. He created the Prove Me Wrong table, a simple setup where he'd sit on college campuses with a sign challenging students to debate conservative ideas. Armed with statistics, quick wit, and unshakable confidence, Kirk took on all comers, debating topics from tax policy to social justice. Videos of these exchanges, often heated and theatrical, went viral on YouTube, amassing thousands of views and drawing recruits. By 2013, TPUSA held its first national conference in Chicago, attracting 200 students, a modest start that signaled bigger things to come. Funding transformed the organization. Conservative megadonors, including Foster Friess, a Wyoming businessman and Republican philanthropist, saw Kirk as the future of the conservative movement. Friess provided seed money, enabling TPUSA to expand rapidly. By 2016, the organization had chapters on over 1,000 campuses, hosting events with high-profile speakers like Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, and Dinesh D'Souza. Kirk's strategy was brilliant: empower young conservatives with training, networking, and activism tools, turning them into campus warriors. In 2016, TPUSA launched the Professor Watch List, a database accusing leftist academics of bias, which Kirk defended as exposing indoctrination, but critics like the American Association of University Professors condemned as a hit list reminiscent of McCarthyism. The controversy only amplified TPUSA's profile, drawing more donors and attention. Kirk's personal brand grew alongside TPUSA. By his early 20s, he was a conservative wunderkind, speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference, CPAC, in 2015 and building alliances with GOP heavyweights like Senators Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. His social media presence exploded. By 2025, his X account, at Charlie Kirk 11, had over 6 million followers, making him one of the most followed conservative voices online. Kirk's appeal was unique. A dropout who spoke like a peer to Gen Z, he railed against safe spaces, trigger warnings, and cancel culture before those terms became mainstream. "I want young people to know conservatism is cool," he told Fox News in 2017, a soundbite that became a rallying cry. His events were part spectacle, part sermon, blending policy arguments with cultural bravado. TPUSA's annual summits, like the 2019 Student Action Summit, drew 5,000 attendees, including President Trump, who praised Kirk as a great warrior. The rise of Donald Trump in 2016 was a turning point for Kirk and TPUSA. Sensing a shift in the Republican Party, Kirk aligned the organization with the MAGA movement, transforming TPUSA into a powerhouse for youth mobilization. He organized campus tours to rally students for Trump's presidential campaign, setting up voter registration drives and Build the Wall events that drew thousands. At the 2016 Republican National Convention, Kirk, at just 22, spoke as one of the youngest voices, declaring, "Donald Trump is the turning point America needs." TPUSA's efforts were credited with boosting conservative turnout among 18 to 24-year-olds, helping Trump win swing states like Wisconsin and Michigan. Post-election, Kirk became a key Trump ally. He met with the president-elect at Mar-a-Lago in 2017, strategizing on youth outreach. TPUSA's budget swelled, with donations from Betsy DeVos's family and other GOP megadonors reaching $80 million annually by 2020. Kirk launched The Charlie Kirk Show in 2019, a daily radio and podcast program syndicated on Salem Media Group, which by 2024 garnered 500,000 to 750,000 downloads per episode, ranking among Apple's top 10 news podcasts. He also created Turning Point Live, a streaming talk show targeting Gen Z, averaging over 100,000 unique monthly viewers by 2021. Kirk's media presence was relentless. He authored several books: Time for a Turning Point, 2016, outlined his vision for youth conservatism, Campus Battlefield, 2018, targeted higher education's leftist bias, and the MAGA Doctrine, 2020, a bestseller selling over 100,000 copies, became a blueprint for Trumpism. Trump praised the book, tweeting, "Charlie gets it." Kirk's rhetoric was uncompromising. He opposed abortion, same-sex marriage, and Islam, while defending gun rights, famously stating that gun deaths were worth it for Second Amendment freedoms. He promoted Christian nationalism, calling for a return to Judeo-Christian values in schools and government. Kirk's rise wasn't without controversy. His rhetoric often courted outrage, amplifying conspiracy theories about COVID-19 origins, claiming it was a Chinese lab leak, and election fraud in 2020. He was a vocal supporter of the Stop the Steal movement, though Tpeuza denied funding violence at the January 6, 2021, Capitol riot despite allegations from activist Ali Alexander. Kirk's social media accounts were temporarily banned from Facebook in 2019 for spreading misinformation about vaccines, though reinstated in 2023 after policy changes. Critics, including LGBTQ activist Josh Helfgott, labeled him the loudest homophobe in America for his opposition to same-sex marriage and pride events. Kirk's 2024 claim that the 1964 Civil Rights Act was a mistake sparked backlash, with the NAACP calling it divisive and ahistorical. Tpeuza events often led to clashes. A 2018 event at the University of Colorado was met with protests, requiring police intervention. Kirk's "You're Being Brainwashed" tour in 2024, which used TikTok and YouTube to reach Gen Z, drew 1 million online views but also bombed threats at several venues. Supporters saw him as a defender of free speech, exposing liberal hypocrisy. Detractors accused him of stoking division and misinformation. Psychological studies on polarization, such as those by Liliana Mason, suggest figures like Kirk thrive by tapping into identity-driven tribalism, amplifying us versus them narratives. Kirk's personal life offered a softer contrast. In 2021, he married Erica Franceva, a former Miss Arizona and Christian podcaster, after a 6-hour dinner discussing theology and politics. They had 2 young children by 2025, and Erica often appeared on his show, embodying the family values he championed. Yet, his public battles intensified. During Trump's 2024 campaign, Tpeuza mobilized 1.5 million voters, helping secure his victory. Trump called Kirk an amazing guy at a Florida rally in July 2024. By 2025, Kirk's influence was at its peak. Tpeuza had grown to 3,000 campus chapters, raising $100 million annually and hosting massive rallies. The American Comeback Tour, launched in January 2025, was Kirk's boldest project yet, a 50-campus tour to solidify MAGA's hold on young voters post-Trump's re-election. Kirk spoke to crowds of thousands, railing against diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs, critical race theory, and radical left policies. "America is worth fighting for," he declared at a Texas A&M event that drew 4,000 attendees. His events were spectacles, with pyrotechnics, big screens, and appearances from Trump, J.D. Vance, and Tucker Carlson. Kirk's rhetoric grew bolder. He called for abolishing DI in universities, reinstating prayer in schools, and passing federal voter ID laws. His X posts, averaging 10 million impressions weekly, amplified these messages, earning 200,000 new followers in 2025 alone. But the tour also attracted threats. Kirk had received death threats since 2018, escalating after his 2024 election efforts. Tpeuza hired private security, and the Secret Service provided protection for high-profile events, a precaution rooted in Kirk's growing prominence. In spring 2025, Kirk addressed the Oxford Union, a rare honor for an American activist, debating global conservatism and winning over skeptics with his polished delivery. He launched Turning Point Faith in 2021, after a fallout with Liberty University, mobilizing pastors for political action and hosting Freedom Night in America events in churches. By September 2025, Kirk was at the height of his influence, a household name in conservative circles and a target for his opponents. September 10, 2025, began like any other stop on the American Comeback Tour. Utah Valley University, UVU, in Orem, Utah, a mid-sized public school with a growing conservative student base, hosted Kirk for a noon event on the campus quad. Approximately 3,000 students, locals, and Puza supporters gathered under a clear sky, waving American flags and red MAGA hats. Kirk, dressed in a navy suit and red tie, took the stage at 12:15 p.m. Mountain Time, delivering a fiery speech on free speech, patriotism, and the need to take back our campuses from woke ideology. At exactly 12:23 p.m., as he gestured to the crowd, a single shot rang out, piercing the festive atmosphere. Eyewitnesses described a scene of chaos. Kirk clutched his neck, blood staining his white shirt, and slumped in his chair, his microphone clattering to the stage. The bullet, fired from a Mauser bolt-action rifle at approximately 142 yards from a rooftop across the quad, struck his carotid artery, a precise and fatal shot. Secret Service agents, assigned due to prior threats, rushed the stage, shielding Kirk as medics pushed through the panicking crowd. Paramedics attempted to stabilize him, but the wound was catastrophic. Kirk was pronounced dead at Timpanogos Regional Hospital at 12:45 p.m. The shooter, later identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, a UVU student and electrical apprentice, fled the scene in a borrowed car. Robinson, described by family as having shifted radically leftward in the past year, embracing LGBTQ rights and anti-fascist views, drove 250 miles before confessing to his father on September 12. "I did it because he was dangerous," Robinson reportedly said, expressing regret but refusing to surrender initially. A family friend alerted authorities, leading to his arrest 33 hours after the shooting in a remote Utah town. Robinson faces charges of aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, and obstruction of justice. Investigators recovered the rifle, wrapped in a towel, near the rooftop, along with bullet casings engraved with anti-fascist slogans like "No Hate." DNA from a screwdriver and the towel matched Robinson, confirmed by forensic analysis. His Discord messages, uncovered by the FBI, revealed plans to retrieve a rifle and admiration for anti-fascist martyrs, though no larger conspiracy has been confirmed. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called it a political assassination, and the FBI offered a $100,000 reward for information, receiving over 7,000 tips within a week. The nation reeled in the wake of Kirk's death. President Donald Trump, who had survived 2 assassination attempts in 2024, labeled it a heinous assassination and ordered U.S. flags flown at half-staff until September 14, 2025. He announced a posthumous Presidential Medal of Freedom for Kirk, praising him as a patriot who devoted his life to open debate and American greatness. Erica Kirk, speaking at a Puza vigil on September 11, vowed to continue his work. "Charlie's vision will be greater than ever. We will not be silenced." Tributes poured in from conservative leaders. Tucker Carlson called Kirk the future of conservatism. RFK Jr., whose family knew the pain of assassination, offered condolences. Ben Shapiro, a close friend, guest hosted the Charlie Kirk show in his honor. Global reactions were profound. Vigils sprang up in Sydney, Australia, where a haka performance honored Kirk, and in London, where conservative youth groups held candlelight ceremonies. In Washington, D.C., Congress gathered in Statuary Hall for a bipartisan memorial, though some Democrats abstained. citing Kirk's polarizing views. New College of Florida, a conservative bastion, announced plans for a Kirk statue. Songs like Carry the Flame by the band Radish went viral as tributes, amassing 2 million streams. But the aftermath also exposed America's deep divide. Some liberals celebrated Kirk's death online, posting memes and videos mocking his rhetoric. Companies like Delta, American, and United Airlines fired employees for such posts, citing hate speech policies, under pressure from Republican officials. At Texas State University, students caught celebrating were expelled, sparking free speech debates. Far-right figures like Laura Loomer called for revenge, compiling lists of celebrators that led to doxing, arrests, and death threats. In Bentonville, Arkansas, a Kirk memorial was vandalized by Carrie Melissa Rowlow, a 20-year-old Arkansas Tech student, who was charged with criminal mischief. European right-wing groups pushed for a moment of silence in the European Parliament, but the proposal was rejected, with critics citing Kirk's controversial stances. Belgian author David van Reybrouck warned that the assassination could become a Reichstag fire moment for Trump's administration, potentially justifying crackdowns on dissent amid economic challenges. Kirk's X account, with 6 million followers, remains active, used by Purza for tributes and broadcasts, though his last personal post was on September 10, 2025, promoting the UVU event. Charlie Kirk's life was a testament to audacious ambition. From a garage in Chicago to the national stage, he built Turning Point USA into a conservative juggernaut, mobilizing millions of young people and reshaping the Republican Party's youth strategy. His media empire, podcasts, books, and viral videos, reached tens of millions, making conservatism accessible to a generation raised on social media. His alignment with Trump cemented his influence, helping secure victories in 2016 and 2024. Kirk's personal life, his marriage to Erica, his role as a father, humanized him, even as his rhetoric polarized. To supporters, Kirk was a martyr for free speech, a fearless warrior against liberal orthodoxy. His #walkaway campaign inspired thousands of ex-liberals to share stories of leaving the left. Purza's continued growth, with Erica and new leadership at the helm, ensures his vision endures. To critics, Kirk was a provocateur who fueled division, promoting conspiracy theories and inflammatory rhetoric that deepened America's cultural rift. His comments on the Civil Rights Act, pride, and election integrity remain flashpoints. Psychologically, Kirk's story reflects the power of conviction and the perils of polarization. Studies by political scientist Liliana Mason highlight how figures like Kirk thrive by tapping into identity-driven tribalism, creating loyal followers but also bitter enemies. His assassination, echoing historical political violence like the murders of RFK and MLK, underscores the dangers of a divided society. Societally, it raises questions about free speech, accountability, and the role of provocative figures in democracy. Could de-escalation, less inflammatory rhetoric, more dialogue, have prevented such a tragedy? Or was Kirk's confrontational style a necessary challenge to entrenched power? The investigation into Robinson's motives continues, with no evidence of a broader conspiracy as of September 17, 2025. Yet, the parallels to Trump's 2024 assassination attempts and RFK's 1968 killing are chilling, suggesting a pattern of violence in polarized times. Kirk's death has sparked calls for reform, tighter security for public figures, social media moderation to curb hate, and bipartisan efforts to reduce political vitriol. Charlie Kirk's story is one of ambition, conviction, and tragedy. From a suburban kid to a conservative icon, he awakened a generation to fight for their beliefs, proving that youth could reshape a nation. His assassination on September 10, 2025, at 12:23 p.m., robbed America of a voice that refused to be silenced. But his legacy lives on through Tcuza, Erica's resolve, and the millions who say Kirk changed their lives. As Ben Shapiro said, Charlie was destined for greatness. What do you think? Was Charlie Kirk a hero who spoke truth to power, or a divider who fueled hate? Could his death be a turning point to end political violence? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and tell us where you're watching from: Chicago, London, Sydney, Indiana, Mississippi, Florida, or beyond. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe to The Killer Next Door for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world, and share this video to honor Kirk's memory. From all of us, rest in peace, Charlie. Your flame burns on.